Hello. Am I talking? Hello. I'm gonna put music on. Okay, man, my spotted eye. No one word. Show. How's everyone doing? You guys are doing fine and dandy. Hmm. Oh god, I'm stuck. Okay. Hope everyone is doing great. I had a busy day, man. Busy day. Now, I saw this video. I don't know what you guys thought about kids actually being streamers, stuff like that, or YouTubers or whatnot. I find it inappropriate for kids to, um, do these kind of things at a young age. Like, Ryan, is it Ryan? Ryan was a kid when they first started it. Sorry, I'm very occupied by something. Which is a kid. I kind of I was like amazed that he's like got a YouTube channel, right? But feel bad, man. Sorry, I'm gonna click the music on in the background because it's not doing wonders for us in the situation for us. Anywho, we'll figure that out together, okay? I feel like people should not put their kids in on YouTube at all. I don't care what age. Um, I've seen time and time again, like YouTube is like using their kids as props and not even looking after them. No relationship, no nothing. And I've seen kids actually, you know, cut off their parents for this. And here, let's see what's going on with Ryan's world. And yeah.
Ryan's World made his parents over $34 million at just 4 years old, but
Woo!
now
34 million. If my kid made 34 million as a 4-year old, that's it. That's done. We're good. Not working, kiddo. You got your inheritance right there. You got your inheritance. I got, me and my husband would be living good. But again, I, you, I mean, I get that he was like playing with toys and all that stuff, but you actually end up losing that youth because you're not going to be 4 years old again, right? So just in doing this is kind of disheartening at the same time.
10 years later, their entire empire is crumbling. A multi-million-dollar movie that completely flopped, being investigated by
104 million, damn.
federal authorities for misleading children, and Ryan himself, now 13 years old, making it very clear he does not want to be doing this anymore. So when you look at
I feel this.
everything
I
his
feel
parents
this. I feel this. I mean, when you're a kid, you're excited with toys and all that stuff, like, yay, oh, cool. But when you hit 13, 14, you're in puberty area. You're not going to be a teen anymore. You're going to be trying to focus on school. You want to focus on the career that you want to go. And, you starting off at such a young age, I don't think you'll be interested in YouTube at that point. Maybe in the future. But at this point, like, he is 14, 13 years old. He's focusing on school. He's trying to make friends. Like, his family is like putting a camera in his face. If my child in the future, possibly, wanted to do this, yes, but I'd be cautious on what he posts and monitor that, yeah. But at the same time, I'm not gonna have this thing be the main priority in his life. He can do it as like a hobby or something like that, but having him film every single day, doing all these stuff, no, thank you.
this downfall, yeah.
But I don't know about you. Would you allow your child to do so? I feel like this is count as child labor in a way, sort of. But if my kid wants to do this as a hobby, that's fine. But it can't be main. He has to focus on school. He needs to grow. He needs to find what he likes, what he doesn't like. He's a kid. They are kids at the end of the day, and they're not gonna be a kid long, right? They only have 18 years and then they're an adult. You know, they have to pay taxes, they have to do all this stuff, drive, get married, go to university, pay for intuitions, all that stuff. There's so much to do as an adult that they're not gonna have the freedom as a kid. You know what I mean? I don't know what you guys' thoughts are. Let me know. But yeah, maybe my perspective is different to yours. Because there's someone who had a rough childhood and didn't get the freedom most people have. Like, I lived in poverty for a long time, gang violence, all that stuff. I witnessed all of that. I never had protection from my parents. Um, I was, I had to work my ass off to get some money to help me and my brother because it was only us two versus the world. But now, like, I cherish those moments, but at the same time, I'm like, I wish I was a kid. Everyone wishes to be a kid in the back, in the back of the mind, you know. And this little boy here, will have that feeling like, I wish I did this as a kid. I wish I did that instead of being a YouTuber. You know, there's gonna be a lot of regret.
So let's break down how Shion and Loan Kaji built a $1 billion YouTube empire of their own son, and how their own greed slowly destroyed it. So to understand how bad things got, you have to understand how it all began, because it didn't start with greed. At least it didn't look like it. In 2015, Ryan is 3 years old and absolutely obsessed with YouTube. He's been watching channels like EvanTube HD, another channel run by a kid who unboxes toys and plays games, and he tells his mother he wants to do the same thing. His parents thought, why not? So his mother takes him to a toy store, he picks out a Lego train set, they film the whole thing, and for a while the channel grows slowly, nothing crazy, just a family having fun. And then came the video that changed everything. A giant Lightning McQueen surprise egg, packed with over 100 Disney card toys. Ryan's reaction is pure unfiltered excitement, the kind of joy that you genuinely cannot fake at 3 years old. The video goes on to accumulate over 1.2 billion views.
Damn.
Yes, I said that, billion. This genuinely transformed the Kaji's family lives overnight. They went from a regular household in Texas into one of the biggest kid YouTube channels. And this—
Damn! Yeah, I mean, it's not surprising because you're trying to find toys that kids might like, and then you find these channels, or kids will enjoy watching him and probably ask their parents to get it,
was a very important moment right here, because at this point, Shion and Loan face a choice that every parent in their position has to face. Do you treat this as a wonderful, lucky moment that your child gets to enjoy, or do you look at these numbers, do the maths, see the potential, and start thinking about what comes next? And the Kajis made their choice pretty quickly, and took things very seriously. Within months of that video blowing up, the channel's growth became exponential. Brand deals came in, sponsorship offers, merchandise proposals, and Shion and Loan, a structural engineer and a high school chemistry teacher, made the decision to quit their jobs entirely and
that's my issue. If you worked in schools, so you kind of already know how the brain works for a child. Yet you put money before your child, allegedly. Like, these people might be the nicest people on the earth back then, but they have... If they continue to force Ryan to do these toys reviews even at 14, I'm sorry. Something's up with the parents. Because if you're telling me one of the parents is a teacher, teachers know when not to push stuff on kids. They know what happens to kids when they do that. They literally see kids every single day, like, break down over certain stuff or dealing with a lot of stuff. So I'm to be honest, I'm gonna stick with being biased, but this is making me question the parents' motives right now, allegedly.
go all in on Ryan. On the surface, this may sound like supportive parenting, backing your kid, believing in them, but look at what they actually built, and this kind of framing falls apart very fast. They formed Sunlight Entertainment, a full production company. At its peak, the operation employed over 30 people. If you think about it, it's very crazy. 30 people on full salaries, benefits, production costs and equipment, a massive financial machine that needed constantly feeding. And there was only one person whose name was above the door, Ryan Kaji, a literal child. At their peak, the Kajis were running more than 10 channels simultaneously, and across those channels they were producing up to 25 videos every single week, which if you really think about it, is kind of sad. Ryan went from being another ordinary child to a superstar. His whole house—
Not only that, but they milked him. Like, how much videos did they produce of this kid? You know, when I'm doing reaction, I have to do 5 to 6 a day, you know, and that's just for one day, or sometimes I would do like 4 for a day, and it takes a lot. It takes an hour or so, right? But for him, he's just 7 years old. He got school and all that stuff. He needs to grow his brain, right? How much content did they make out of him? You know, because sometimes editing and all that stuff takes like the films and all that stuff that have is like hours and hours of worth. So how much did they use the kid? Did he was he able to have like Sunday or Saturday to play outside? Did he go to school?
and all the rooms were gutted
Allegedly?
and converted into professional filming sets. Lighting rigs, camera equipment, props everywhere. His home stopped being a home and became a workplace, and his entire life became work. Ryan's daily life, breakfast, playtime, trips to the stores, became content. Everything he did was filmed and monetized. And at this point, it started to look like Ryan wasn't enjoying the life of a child. His parents were using him as a cash cow. So by 2018, Ryan Kaji was the highest paid creator on YouTube. Not the highest paid child creator, literally the most earned on the entire platform. $26 million in a single year, and he was just 7 years old. And he continued to hold that title again in 2019 and in 2020. 3 consecutive—
He's above any adult here. Any adult in this list, he's above. If my child produced that, we ain't working. He ain't working. You know, we can chill. Post whenever that's suitable for him. Okay, cool. But if I get 26 million, oh, my child doesn't need to do shit. Oh, we got a house. You know, the majority of the money will go to his future. You know, he can chill. I can chill. My husband can chill. We can chill and do whatever we want. You know, no need to stress about taxes, what we need to do, all that stuff. Now we're chilling. This is crazy work.
Years as the highest earning person on the platform. And this wasn't only from YouTube. This came from the empire of products that included Walmart toy lines, Colgate toothpaste collaborations, mobile games, Macy's Thanksgiving parade balloon, and many, many more. But with all these numbers about how much money they were making started coming out, things started to become very weird. Because when you think about it, a $1 billion brand built on a child's face and a child's labor, well, there's no guarantee that this money will ever become his. Unlike child actors in Hollywood, who have had earning protections in place since California passed the Coogan Law back in 1939, child influencers had virtually no legal protection at all. Every single—
The issue with this one is that I was like, usually when I see how do I say it? When I see YouTubers use their kids, none of the money goes to them in general. They go and buy luxury bags, X, Y, and Z. And that fucks over the kid's mental, because it's like, oh, you only come to me when you want money, you want to film stuff. Do you actually value your time with me as a child? Then why are you consistently filming me? That's a general question I have if I was in his situation. Like, do you actually love me for as a kid, or do you love me because you're getting money out of me? You know?
dollar Ryan
The issue I have is when he's an adult as well.
generated legally belonged to his parents. All of it. Ryan had no trust fund being set aside and no legal guardian protecting his financial interests. Literally nothing. He was the golden goose and the cage had no laws around it. And things only continued to get worse. As the channel grew and the business scaled up, the content changed. Because what started as a kid genuinely playing with toys he loved, slowly, quietly shifted into something else entirely. His videos had sponsored segments, brand deals were sneakily added into videos, and products were placed into Ryan's hands. Toys, food items, toothpaste, games,
Aw,
and
he's
Ryan
such a
would play with them,
cutie.
react to them, endorse them. And his audience, which is of course mostly toddlers and preschoolers between the ages of 2 and 6,
Yeah.
had absolutely no idea to understand what was happening. Think about the audience for a second. These are children who still believe in the Tooth Fairy, Santa, and so on. Children who cannot read. Children who literally look at Ryan as a kid just like them. Excited and happy and relatable, trusting him completely. When Ryan picks up a toy and says he loves it, those kids believe him. Then they go to their parents and ask for that exact toy. But the massive problem here was, these ads weren't disclosed. They were built into the play. There was no clear label, no separation between what videos were Ryan actually enjoying something and just an advertisement. And it wasn't long before critics, parents, consumer advocates, child psychologists started raising the alarm that this was not ethically right, and it was potentially illegal. So in 2019, the Federal Trade Commission and the New York Attorney General launched one of the largest digital enforcement actions in American history. The target is Google and YouTube. The charge is violating COPPA, the Children's Online Privacy Protection Act, by collecting personal data from children without parental consent and using that data to serve targeted advertisements. The fine was $170 million, $136 million to the FTC, and $34 million to the New York Attorney General, the largest COPPA settlement ever recorded. And it was so big because YouTube knew what they were doing. Everyone knows that these children's channels are watched primarily by young children, but rather than treating those viewers as a protected class they legally were, YouTube served them targeted ads based on behavioral tracking data, web cookies following children across the internet, personal data being harvested from kids who were barely old enough to hold a tablet, all to maximize ad revenue. The ruling
That's what I have a problem with. I don't mind parents giving their toddlers like a tablet, a couple of times when they need it most, when the parent needs to step out of the way and like relax. But too much is really bad. Like I seen parents that kids who are misbehaving because they want their tablets, and in my head I'm like, this is not good. This is not good. Way of handling your kid. But again, I'm not a parent. I'm not a mother at all. I can't even have one, so I can't have my say. But that's my opinion. Maybe you guys have a different perspective on regards to this, but let me know. But yeah, I don't know how I feel about tablets on kids. Because sometimes YouTube sends them to videos that is pretty harmful. There has multiple times where kids actually went from YouTube Kids to adult kids, even though it's a YouTube Kid app. And you can't say no, that never happened. It has. It has. People have tested it multiple times where they went from kids YouTube and then went to actual YouTube where there's guns and all that stuff, violence, murder, all that stuff. Has videos pop up. It has happened. YouTube is being. There's a lot of people complaining about that because there has been time where kids actually watch stuff that's not appropriate. For example, the Spider-Man and Elsa saga on YouTube, that was one of them as well. There was an issue on the YouTube Kids app as well.
Forced immediate changes to the platforms. Comments were
I think they're
disabled
still up
across
as well.
children's content, targeted advertising was severely restricted, and crucially, YouTube's recommendation algorithm was recalibrated to stop aggressively promoting kids' channels the way it had been. For the Kajis, the impact was catastrophic. Loan confirmed it herself in an interview. They lost 70% of their revenue practically overnight.
So after the target ad was removed, our revenue went down by 70%. After just that day. So
what was this date for people that don't have context?
Okay, so the FTC, I guess, prohibited the target ads for the made for kids content from YouTube after a certain point. And
I feel bad for her. Isn't she? Wait, didn't Susan just keep possible? Yeah, she passed away in 2004. No, 2024. But her son died as well over drug overdose.
The target ad it takes a big role on the YouTube, and after that point, That's the majority of the revenue, the ad revenue. So after that was taken out from the kids content, yeah, we lost revenue of 70%.
And when you think about it, this destroyed the operation of Sunlight Entertainment. They had 30 employees, multiple channels, and so many production costs. And now overnight, 2/3 of its previous income completely disappears. And this had an effect on Ryan, because this meant the financial pressure went up, which meant they had to pump out more content, take more brand deals, and do literally everything for an extra penny. And around this same time, the Kajis rebranded Ryan Toys Review to Ryan's World.
So the bad news is there will be no more Ryan's Toys Review. But the good news is that we're still gonna make videos. Yay! We're just gonna change the channel name, and now it's gonna be called Ryan's World. We're changing the channel name because we don't just do toy videos, we do science experiments, and we do challenges like the floor is lava.
It was framed as the channel growing and evolving, but behind the scenes it was more damage control, an attempt to distance the brand from controversy and make it look less commercial. But then came issues that no rebrand or money could fix, because Ryan, he was growing up. The kids who had discovered him at 4 and 5 years old were now preteens. They'd moved on to gaming channels, to social media, and to other content that actually reflected their age. They weren't watching toy unboxings anymore, and Ryan's peers, other kids his age, weren't interested in watching a 12-year-old pretend to be excited about toys designed for 5-year-olds.
One of y'all please tell me why in the freak is Ryan World still
You know, I would, if he actually played games or had videos based on his age, like for example Gundam or anime toys or something like that, or reviews or something, maybe I'll be fine. But why are you putting a kid with toys? I wouldn't be interested as well.
If y'all don't recognize who this dude is right here, and yes, I'm saying dude, he's a grown man, I'm gonna show you something real quick. This is him back in 2018. I remember as a kid, I used to see his videos all over the place. I'm like, yo, this little kid's making a lot of money. Bro, he has 39 million subs. And back in the day, he was pulling 2 billion, 1.2 billion, 400 million, 461 million.
Damn.
He was Mr. Beast before Mr. Beast. I recently saw this video on my timeline, and in 2025, he is still making videos. So I went on a search to figure out why. He does not want to make videos, at least from what I've heard. Apparently, bro, his parents is forcing him to make videos, and you're asking why? I'm gonna show you. Lil bro has an estimated net worth of $100 million, and this is probably not even all his money, because you know the net worth doesn't get all your money.
Comments started appearing under the videos. His voice is deeper than mine now. How is he still doing this? Former fans saying they used to be jealous of his life, and now they were grateful to be normal kids. And this continued to platforms like TikTok, where people made memes about him, which got millions of views. And here's the massive issue that Ryan's parents had created. Their entire brand, the merchandise, the partnerships, pretty much the whole channel identity, was built on a specific image, a cheerful, excitable young Ryan. But now that he's grown up, they won't let him change his content or step back and explore his own interests. No, that's too big of a financial risk. They're still gonna make him unbox toys at 13 years old, even though his
Kids don't think any kids like toys at the age of 13. When I was 13, I was playing Call of Duty and all that stuff, man. I was more interested in video games than actual toys.
audience doesn't want to see that anymore, and Ryan doesn't want to do that anymore. So what did they do? Well, they pushed harder. More uploads, more recycled content. They began just reposting old videos, running live streams on repeat, and chasing whatever ad revenue was still available from the shrinking audience still tuning in. They even tried new stuff such as gaming content and educational challenges to chase Ryan's older audience, but they were all flopping, pulling a fraction of the views the old content used to generate, with commenters even pointing it out and calling it very forced and cringe. By 2023, Ryan had fallen from 1st to 17th on YouTube's highest earning list, the same list he topped for 3 years running. And everyone could see it. Ryan's world was slowly falling apart, and his parents, rather than acknowledging that, they just kept pumping out the videos. And if there's one moment,
if they actually adapted the YouTube account channel to his interests, I think it would have been fine. Cause then instead of being Ryan's world, it's like Ryan's growth. Like, just to see what he likes and then go from there, and then he can take that YouTube channel over longer areas. in life. But no, they're just stuck to toys. Like, I think they're scared of the idea that he might be leaving and this channel that's producing so much money. I don't know. I'm assuming here.
That crystallizes exactly what Ryan's life looks like behind the brand. It's his podcast appearance. Ryan is the guest. He's been brought on to talk about his life, his channel, his experiences, but watch the dynamic and it becomes deeply uncomfortable very quickly.
Like, Ryan, are you going to keep making YouTube videos, given your interest to be an animator and maybe go behind the camera, like as you get older?
I think I will keep.
If one of them talks, when the question is on him, I'm gonna call something out.
Going for a while, yeah.
His parents are there and they do the
Yes. Hold on.
Like as you get older?
I think
They're ironing him out. That's smart. They're like, you better say something nice or else you're getting the words when you get home. Don't make us look like a fool.
I will keep going for a while.
See?
Yeah.
His parents are there and they do the vast majority of the talking. And when Ryan does
See that? I think they're very overbearing. I'm just assuming. I'm not legit, but something's
speak,
up.
which was very rare, he looks at them first in a way that looks like he's asking, is this okay? Am I saying the right thing? And when he's asked whether he enjoys making content, his answer is very careful. Of course, looking at his parents, and not long until his parents interrupt him. But as you can probably tell by the clip I just played you, what
This is making me question everything. Look at him relax and all that stuff, and you see Ryan with his face like, I want out. Give me a break. I am a kid. Let me enjoy my teen years. He doesn't look happy in this one.
Ryan said in that
Allegedly,
interview was that the
it
version
looks like he has to put on a smile.
of his life that he enjoyed is over. He doesn't enjoy playing with toys or unboxing them anymore, and he wants to do something that normal teenagers do. Go play sports, play video games, hang out with his friends, go to the movies, whatever. But
He's not gonna even be able to hang with his friends that much as well. Like, think about it. Like, once you hit 18, everyone's doing their own life. They're doing their own thing. They're very busy. So he's not gonna have the time to enjoy those little moments before, you know, him becoming an adult, you know? Maybe I'm speaking out of my ass crack, but that's what I'm thinking.
publicly, he's not allowed to say that or do that. But guess what? His parents heard all of that, and what was their response? Well, they decided to make a movie. So let's go over the Ryan's World movie disaster, the Titan Universe Adventure. A $10 million budget, major promotional push, with it being positioned as the brand's evolution beyond YouTube. Proof that Ryan's World could compete in mainstream entertainment. Well, long story short, it made $600,000 at the box office, losing $9.4 million.
Oh my god, is that a third Titan's lair? You need us! She has a point.
How's this for a point? I'm the big brother, I know best, and I'm in charge.
Theatre staff across multiple countries reported screenings with 0 attendees, not low, literally 0. And by the third weekend, films with essentially no marketing budget were outperforming it. The IMDb score settled at 1.8 out of 10, one of the lowest ratings of the entire year across any film in any genre, and audiences described it as a cash grab that failed to even succeed as a cash grab. It was a YouTube quality production that had no business being projected onto cinema screens. And if you really think about it, it makes no sense. Ryan's World is older.
He looked like he's a bit controlled by how he acts and all that stuff. Like, he's very shy, he's really closed off, he doesn't want to get in trouble and stuff like that, I'm assuming. And someone that lived in a strict family. My mom was very, very, very strict on me. Like, I can feel this guy. But I'm not rich. I'm broke poor, man.
yet they want to make a movie about him opening toys or whatever. And then when you even take a look at the channel analytics, his views have dropped. So now you want to make a movie with a massive budget? Of course it's not going to make money if your YouTube videos aren't making money. And this movie was more than just money burnt. It removed any remaining doubt about where the brand stood. This was a public, documented and irrefutable confirmation that Ryan's World had lost its audience completely, and that his parents were still spending money they no longer had trying to pretend otherwise. But their next move, it was even sadder and pretty much disgusting. As Ryan began appearing less in content, probably because he was very tired, flat, and going through those normal teenage emotions we all went through, the camera shifted onto his sisters, Emma and Kate. They are 7 years old and they became the stars of the show, first alongside Ryan and then slowly over time without him. They now have their own animation series, their own dedicated content, and their own merchandise and toys. As you can imagine, the internet's reaction was furious because everyone recognized exactly what they were watching. Ryan had made his parents millions of dollars, and the moment he started showing signs of not being interested anymore, his parents decided to keep the
Yeah, I kind of noticed it as well. Like, I see them slowly bringing in the sisters. What next? You're gonna adopt a random child and be like, oh, yep, your turn. Your turn. Make us money now. Hey? Like, there's no love, no care, no nothing. Like, what about Ryan? Do you support him too? Do you show him love? What do you do now?
Machine going and started
Allegedly.
using his sisters instead. Same playbook, same house, but just different kids. Comments flooded in saying, Ryan made you money, and they're already moving on to the next siblings. It's sad as it seems like this cycle of the Kaji parents using their children will never end. But there was some light at the end of the tunnel, because slowly legislators started acting. Illinois passed a kid influencer protection law in 2023, one of the first of its kind, requiring parents who profit from their children's online content to set aside a percentage of those earnings into a protected trust that the child can access when they turn 18. California followed with its own version of the legislation shortly. Washington State introduced similar protections after. And it's good that these laws were added because it's the exact gap the Kajis exploited. And Ryan Kaji is the reason these laws now exist. His name will never appear in them, but the gap they were designed to close has his story written all over it. And the thing is, Ryan's story isn't new. It's just new in the social
He got bags under his eyes. What?
media world. But previously, the pattern has always stayed the same. Macaulay Culkin made his parents millions from Home Alone and spent years in legal battles trying to protect his own money. He's spoken openly as an adult about the psychological cost of childhood spent working. You could then look at the Olsen twins. They built a billion-dollar empire from early childhood, and the moment they had legal controls over their own careers, they both walked away from acting entirely and have rarely looked back. There's a lot of these stories, and they all follow the same pattern. A talented child with parents who see an opportunity to make money with insufficient protections, and then later down the line, an adult who eventually has to reckon with what their childhood actually was. Ryan is only
That's very sad. That's very sad. Like, I feel like some parents don't deserve being called parents, or kids need parents. Kids deserve good parents, but parents don't deserve kids, as the old saying. It's very sad. I feel bad, man. I hope that he doesn't get any issues regarding his money or finance because he's a teenager. I hope they save money for him in the future as well. I just feel scared. I feel worried for the girls. Like, what happened if they grow up as well? Like, what's gonna happen then?
13. His reckoning is still coming. So now you guys might be wondering, where is Ryan now and what is he doing? Well, the family relocated from Texas to Hawaii in 2021 with Ryan attending a private school. And from what we've seen on social media, his daily life now involves tennis, skateboarding, swimming, and a massive love for animation. He's officially listed as a creative director at Sunlight Entertainment, which in practice means occasional voiceover work and brief on-camera appearances when the brand needs him. And the Ryan's World channel still carries his name, the merchandise and all the toys still carry his face, but Ryan himself seems to be quietly, carefully building a life that exists outside of this social media world. He wants to do animation. He said it multiple times in interviews.
What do you want to be when you grow up?
When I grow up, I want to be like an animator. I think it's really fun to do because like the drawing and then like at the end you get to see the whole thing and see
Yeah.
what you've like worked on the whole time. And like sometimes I can see like the drafts first, and then after I can see like the full thing. And it's really cool to see how it changes over time.
Yeah, you were in the front.
He wants to create on his
I
own
got him,
a
alright.
behind the camera series. And honestly, given everything he's been through, that desire makes complete sense. He spent his entire life being directed, managed, packaged, and literally sold. So it makes sense now he wants to do everything on his own. He must love the freedom, or must desire the freedom, because he's only 13. He doesn't have freedom yet.
I'm happy that the parents are letting him go and be free. That's a good sign. They're not gonna hold him up. I'm happy that they didn't do the what's it called? Daddy 445? Or Daddy 05? That was the channel where they filmed the kids and they were literally abusing them on camera. Allegedly. It was ages ago. I remember because one of them had ginger hair and glasses, and it was the father's children from another marriage, and they were abusing the kiddo. And if I recall, they still have a YouTube channel and they're still filming to this day. But boy, I'm happy that this man actually allowed his child to be free, and it's kind of gut-wrenching that they're now moving on to the girls, because it means that like I'm just a bit worried that the girls grow up and are not interested. What happens next? Like what else are you gonna milk? You know, that's my opinion. That's my question as well. What you guys thought about it? I'm gonna leave the rest of the video here. There is a minute and 24 seconds left. Feel free to comment down below what your thoughts are. I just find it really sad and all, but yeah. You guys have a great day. See ya. Bye.